The Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals, please listen to the rules and procedures that will follow for tonight's meeting.
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. The following is the procedure that will be followed tonight. The matters will be called in the order they appear on the calendar, with adjourned matters being called at the end of the regularly scheduled matters. Matters cannot be heard prior to their published scheduled time. When your matter is called, please submit the affidavit of posting to the secretary and proceed to the podium and give your name and address. The chairperson will then swear you in and read into the record information we have from your application, comments from various town departments, and any correspondence received on your application. The chairperson will then ask you to make whatever presentation you wish to make to the board. After you have made your presentation, the board will ask whatever questions the board deems appropriate, and then we will ask for comments from the public. If you wish to speak for or against an application, we ask that you wait until you're acknowledged, come forward, give us your name and address, tell us where your property is in relation to the property that's in question tonight, and then please direct your comments to the board, not the applicant or the applicant's representative. We have to keep a record, and we cannot do that if there are people talking over each other or cross conversations. If someone has spoken for or against an application, and they have said exactly the same thing that you wish to say, it will have the same force and effect in the record if you give your name and address, are sworn in, and say that you join in those comments. If you have anything additional to say, please don't hesitate to do so, but keep in mind that you will be given only one opportunity to speak. After the public has spoken, the board may ask the applicant to come back to answer any questions that may have come up as a result of the public comments, or for the applicant to summarize. When the applicant comes back to answer any additional questions, if that happens, that does not start a second round of public comments. Once the matter has been heard, various things may occur. The board may decide the application immediately. It may reserve decision. If the board reserves decision, that does not mean the matter is approved or denied. It just means that the board needs more time to decide, may want to go out and look at the site again, or might want to review the documents and testimony further before making a decision. In either event, the applicant will receive the board's decision in writing shortly after the board makes its decision. If the application is approved, that does not mean that you can then go ahead and start construction or whatever it is that you requested from the board. You will have to wait for the building permit to be obtained from the building department before your go-ahead. On some occasions, the matter may be continued for another night. If it is continued, in most cases it will be for the submission of documents, a new survey, new plans, or something of that nature. If that's the case, no one needs to come back on the new date. The documents will be submitted and no further testimony will be taken. On rare occasions, a matter may be continued for future testimony. If that's the case, then people would have to come back to testify. If matters are adjourned at an open meeting on the scheduled date of hearing, no further notice need be given unless specifically required by the board on the date the adjournment is granted. 3 rules that may affect your ability to proceed tonight. 1. If the sign was not posted for 10 days, we cannot hold the hearing tonight. 2. If you commence this proceeding while you own the property, but no longer own the property, and you are here now to continue with the application, you will need either the written consent of the new owner or the new owner to be present for the hearing. This situation could come about if you sold your house or building, money was held in escrow at closing for a certificate of occupancy or permit, and you're here tonight to clear that up. Lastly, if your application is a commercial application and it's other than a renewal and there is more than one tenant in the building, then you need your landlord to be here. Is there any applicant that has any difficulty with those situations and would need an adjournment tonight?
Is there anyone that would need an adjournment? Please rise and join the board in Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First application tonight is application 22-210 of Wilmington REO LLC, property located in Lindenhurst. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Joseph Walker, 270 Ronkonkoma Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779.
Okay, and do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Okay. And before we start, we're going to amend the application. The variance should read amend to diminish rear side yard from 30 to 4. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated December 9th, 2022, Environmental Control memo dated December 14th, 2022. There are some comments here. You should have gotten a copy of that with the planning memo.
I did.
Okay. Suffolk County Planning memo dated December 14, 2022. Decision of local determination. Take no position for or against. Survey by Razam Ali, dated July 9, 2020. Tax map acting as an area map and...
Chairman, we have 5 photographs on the site plan by Robert J. Charnock, dated August 16, 2022.
What'd you like to tell us?
Well, essentially, this house was purchased several years ago by a bank with the addition in place. I'm not exactly sure how long the addition has existed, but judging from the construction, it's been there for quite some time. Prior to the bank purchasing the property, it was occupied by squatters and was quite a mess. In fact, at one point, there was a violation on the property. The squatters were subsequently removed and the violations were lifted. The bank did interior alterations and was seeking a permit for same in order to resell the property when this issue came up, and they were in the process of seeking a certificate of occupancy via a permit. I've looked at the planning memo, and it reflects what the situation was. We're really not reducing a condition that already existed. There's no issue with respect to emergency vehicles or other vehicles accessing the property. The current condition does not decrease the value of the property, the surrounding properties. It's totally consistent with that area. I'm sure the board's familiar with that neighborhood. I've spoken to the neighbor directly to the north, who voiced no opposition to the request. In fact, he was kind of glad that the property had been renovated. In view of the board's balanced need to balance the needs of the community and the owner, we hope they would look on the application favorably.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Rigney.
So what brings you down here tonight? Is the property being purchased? So what brings you down here?
Well, the property was purchased. I believe what happened was the owner who owned it died, and it went into some sort of an estate. It was not taken care of. It was occupied by squatters. It became a bank-owned property. This bank purchased it. They wanted to renovate it. It was a total mess as a result of the squatters being there for some time, and it was, drugs and stuff going on there. So now they tried to renovate it, resell it. They're trying to make a profit on the thing, and in order to resell it, to get the mortgage, somebody needs a certificate of occupancy. And I believe the gas was turned off at the building, so there's no heat. So that in order to have the gas turned back on after it had been turned off for more than a year, you have to get a building permit, a plumbing permit. It has to be reconciled with National Grid in order to provide fuel to the property for heat. So that's where we were in a process of doing as-built plans, and then the setbacks came up. It was reconciled with the COs that were there versus the COs that are required.
And would you plan on, would that addition stay there, or would that addition be removed?
Oh, we want the addition to remain there. It's been there. It's part of the. It was part of it's part of the renovation. I mean, when the renovation was completed, was underway, there was no consideration as to what was legally installed there or not legally, or what was done with the benefit of a permit versus without the benefit of a permit.
Mr. Chairman, I got no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? Come on up. Name and address for the record.
It's Michelle Insinger, 94 Venetian Prom, Lindenhurst, New York. I'm a very close neighbor of this particular house. I didn't realize this was actually up tonight.
You have to talk to us.
I didn't realize
You
this
know
was
that.
even up tonight, but interestingly enough, the Civic was actually involved with removal of the squatters and having the town board the property up and keep a close eye on it. And I can testify to everything this man just said. That was there. I've been in the neighborhood for 23 years. It's been that way ever since. Yes, they did die. It's a very sad story. Yes, there were squatters, and yes, the Civic was involved with actually having the squatters removed with the town and boarded up until it got to this point. So we support him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. We good? That's good.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve application 22-210 as amended.
Second. All in favor? Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
Next application is application 22-217 of Pedro De Caro, property located in Deer Park.
Good evening, board members. Peter DeCaro, 9 Glasgow Avenue, Deer Park, New York, 11729.
Okay. And do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated December 9, 2022. Environmental control memo dated December 13, 2022. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A site plan, not dated, it's not dated or stamped. Tax map acting as an area map, and,
Mr. Chairman, we have 6 photographs.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
I'm here tonight to request permission to install an in-ground pool and pavers on my property. When we purchased our home, we had an above-ground pool, which we recently removed. We met with a pool company and started the permit process to install an in-ground pool so we can enjoy our home and yard with our family. It was a process to find out that we, pardon me, it was a surprise to us to find out that our existing home and patio already exceeds the allowable lot coverage. So anything that we do require a variance. The patio will be on a grade and will mainly be a walkway around the pool tying into the existing patio. The pool and patio will meet all required setbacks, and there will still be plenty of yard that will remain grass.
Thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Cracchio.
Okay, so these pools basically go in the same area that the old pool was in?
Correct.
Okay, and did you read the planning board memo that says they'd like to keep the setbacks 2 feet? Any
Yes.
pavers and everything, you agree to that?
Yes.
Okay, and so basically this is just a lot coverage. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Good, 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 and we're good.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve application 22-217 with the condition that all the pavers and patios maintain a 2-foot conforming setback from the property lines.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Next application is application 22-212 of Ronald Hernandez, property located in Copac. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Marcella Granada, address 10 Dartmouth Drive, Deer Park, New York.
And do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated December 9th, 2022, environmental control memo dated December 13th, 2022. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Barry Farr dated, October 7, 2022. Tax map acting as an area map. And
Chairman, we have 13 photographs.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
Just first, I would like to say that my client, Ronald Hernandez, couldn't be here because he's been ill. but he allowed myself and Juan Lopez to represent him on his behalf. Basically, the client bought a property, it's quite small. He wanted to just extend the kitchen and the bathroom quite a little bit, just to make the living more comfortable for future tenants. We have we've had entered a rental permit with the town, so, the point is that they are going to rent the property. We're asking if you could please approve the extension.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Dellavecchio.
In the photos, it shows 2 rear doors. When I drove by today, I didn't see 2 rear doors.
Yeah, no, I think if you could see, I think the plans also show that we are removing that, I think the back door. So we are removing that door because there's no reason for it.
Did you guys already remove it?
I think so. I honestly, I don't know. I can ask Ronald if they have, but I know the plans were to remove it. It's in the plans to remove it.
Yeah, in the last picture, it shows just the one.
Right.
What's with the 3 different types of finishes on the house? You have the brick, the stucco, and then the gray siding.
Yeah, so that is, I know I see the conditions, and that's something that my client absolutely will fix if that's what the board wants us to do.
So he would agree to finish the siding, instead of siding, have brick?
100%.
And then what about condition for the basement not to be used for any sleeping, cooking, or living quarters, and only to be recreational use and storage?
100% won't be used for that.
Okay. And then how did this get brought up? You guys had a stop work order?
Yes. So it was a stop girl order, and then obviously we just wanted to make sure that things were done right. That's why they hired us, so that we can do things at code with the board and with the town. So
Then with the stop work order, your client still went and removed the second door?
again, I'm not sure if he did if that door was removed or not. I can definitely go back to him and ask if that's been done or not.
Okay.
I have a question. What type of, is it an accessory apartment rental permit or a absentee rental permit?
It's just a rental permit
So a rental permit for one apartment?
for one.
One
for-
dwelling?
For the one dwelling, yes.
Then if it's just one rental permit, then it's going to be owner occupied, correct?
That should be my understanding, but I can ask again.
No.
I think no, I'm sorry. No, this is an investment property of the owner, so it will be rented out.
One family or two family?
One family.
Okay. That would be, do you be a condition for that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
You're renting the whole house.
Yes, the whole house, yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
I make a motion to approve application number 22-212 with the condition that the basement be for a recreation room. What?
Okay, we're gonna... Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna hold this.
Okay.
We're gonna close the hearing, we're gonna reserve decision, you'll get the decision in the mail, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too. Next application is application 22-214 of John and Mary Ann Burke, property located in West Babylon.
Hi, I'm John Burke, 197 Marcy Street, West Babylon.
Okay, I do affirm to tell the truth.
I do.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated December 9th, 2022, environmental control memo dated December 13th, 2022. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Elizabeth McQuilkin, dated August 19th, 2021, or updated, that was the last date. And Okay, so this survey shows what's being done there, and then there's an original survey by Elizabeth McQuilkin dated August 19, 2021, tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, we have 4 photographs.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
Yes, per the planning board memo, I'm seeking permission to install a 12 by 24 built-in pool with pavers and maintain my 2 existing sheds. One's 8 by 10, one's 7 by 7 on the property. There was, I was informed, an illegal structure on the northeast side, a covered patio, which I have since removed when I found out that it was illegal.
Okay, turn the hearing over to Ms. McCullough.
Okay, so as far as the pool, you have the necessary fencing around the property, correct?
Yes, ma'am, I have a 6-foot-high vinyl fence with self-closing gates.
Perfect. And I saw that you have 2-foot setback around the property. Are you agreeing to maintain that?
Absolutely.
With the pool?
Absolutely.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
All right, I make a motion to approve application 22-214, with the condition that a 2-foot setback is maintained throughout the property.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Good luck.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
This is the next one.
Next application is application 22-213 of JCDC Real Estate Holdings Company, in West Babylon. Name and address for the record.
Good evening, Roxanne Trella, Dynamic Expediting Services with offices at 1040 Terry Road, Ronkonkoma, New York.
Okay, do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated December 9th, 2022, Environmental Control memo dated December 13th, 2022. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Peter Brennan dated December 4th, 2021, tax map acting as an area map. And
Chairman, we have 4 photographs.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
So we are here for a diminished front yard setback on Hubbard's Path, a diminished north side setback, and a rear yard setback. All of these are existing setbacks. They're looking to propose a second-story addition that is going within the footprint of the existing home and not protruding into either any side yards or front or rear.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Ms. McCullough.
Okay, so you guys already started this construction?
So they bought the house and it was in disrepair, and initially they were just going to make some small renovations, but once they received the stop work order, they decided to change the scope of the project.
Okay, and when did they purchase the property?
Earlier this year, I believe it was in January.
Okay. So the additions, is this for an accessory apartment? Is just for a growing family? What's going on?
Nope, I actually saw the planning board's memo. I spoke to the client. They're actually relocating all of the bedrooms from the first floor, and there'll only be bedrooms on the second floor. So they did mention the 2 bathrooms. There's one big master ensuite with a bathroom and a walk-in closet, and then there's 2 bedrooms for the children with a bathroom. Downstairs on the first floor, they're basically enlarging the kitchen, dining, living room,
Got it.
and they have a small study downstairs.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
Sure.
Okay, good.
All right, so I make a motion to approve application number 22-213.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You guys want to see me go faster?
Thank you.
Good luck. Yeah, I know, man. Next application is application 22-186 of Glenda and Mario Lip, property located in Farmingdale. Name and address for the record.
John Tufel, Teufel, professional engineer, 707 Route 110, Farmingdale.
Do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated December 9th, 2022, environmental control memo dated December 13th, 2022. If approved, this application will not be negative impact. A survey by Adjo Surveying dated January 31st, 2022, tax map acting as an area map, and
Mr. Chairman, we have 8 photographs in the site plan by Norman C. Locke dated March 31st, 2022.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
Yes, thank you. I'm here tonight with Marino Lip, who's here with me, the owner and a resident in the property of 72 East Carmans Road, Farmingdale. And him and his wife Glenda are seeking a variance for front yard setback to construct a second-story addition onto their existing Cape Cod home. They're also seeking to maintain an attached one-car carport, which has been converted into a one-car garage. Both the addition and garage are in line with the existing dwelling's front yard setback. The zone is Residence C, where a 30-foot front yard setback's required, and we're requesting 27 feet to the proposed second-story addition and existing carport conversion to a one-car garage, just straight across the front of the house. The Town Planning Division has no objections to this request of relief, should the board choose to grant it. Glenda and Marino Lip have owned the home for 15 years and currently reside there with their teenage daughter. They would like Glenda's mom to move in with them. They'd like to add the second story for the additional space, as this is a slab home with no basement. The new construction will be compatible with the character of the neighborhood, as there are other two-story homes in the area. They've had no complaints from the neighbors about the proposed second story and existing garage, and respectfully request the relief be granted. That completes our case.
Okay, so you're going straight up.
Right, straight up the existing
And
front
so
yard.
the existing 27 feet in the front are existing, and they were existing, and you're not increasing that.
Correct, we're maintaining that, right?
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. I'll make a motion to approve application 22-186.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck. Next application is application 22-215 of Lido Food Market, property located in Deer Park. Name and address for the record.
Chris Tartaglia with the firm High Point Engineering, 1860 Walt Whitman Road, Melville, New York, 11747.
I do affirm to tell the truth.
Yes, I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated December 9th, 2022, environmental control memo dated December 13th, 2022. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. Tax map acting as an area map, a plan, the plan that you have right there, dated by, actually, Christopher Mark Taglier. You're
Tartaglia. It's a tough one.
What are we dated here? October 26, 2022. Same thing. It's the same plan. And I guess this is survey, maybe site plan. Survey? Oh, yeah. Gregory Gallus, dated 6/17/20. Would you like to tell us about the application?
And one
Thank you, Mr.
photograph.
Chairman, and happy holidays, members of the
You
board as
too.
well. We're here tonight on behalf of Lidl Supermarket. It's located at the southwest corner of Comac Road and Marcus Boulevard in Deer Park. The board may be familiar if they've passed by. The facility is constructed and hoping to open either on or before the new year of January 1st. We're here tonight seeking 6 separate variances. They all relate to signage for the property. I'll just go through them quickly. The planning memorandum is a great recap of what we're seeking tonight. Variance number 1 is permission to increase the number of ground and monument signs from 1 to 4. Now, if I could just draw the board's attention to this blow-up of the plan to my left. So what you see at the corner here, at the very point of the intersection, is actually a pad site that is housing a gasoline service station that was approved by this board previously in the year. So this pad site takes up roughly a third of the property. And then behind that, or enveloping that to the south and the west, is the Lidl property. So the number of signs that are proposed from 1 to 4, actually, I included this gas station sign here simply because one of those signs is actually the Shell gas station sign previously approved by this board. But since it's all on one parcel, instead of proposing only 3 supermarket signs, we actually have 4 total freestanding signs. One of them, again, is existing, which is this Shell sign, which was approved by this board previously, so that's not before you tonight. However, the quantity of signs is what's before you, from 1 allowed to 4 proposed. Again, 3 are all that are proposed in relation to the supermarket, as indicated on this plan. The second relief is increase the area of a ground sign from 38.4 square feet to 60 square feet. Just again, looking to my left, so that is sign D. That sign is going to be located at the primary entrance to the site, which is located along the southerly part of Comac Road. That's why we have that as the largest sign. Notably, that sign does comply as to height at 15 feet. It's just the area increase from 38.4 to 60. Variance number 3, excuse me, is to increase the height of a freestanding sign, the monument sign, from 6 to 8 feet. Again, drawing your attention to the exhibit on my left. So sign number C is located on the Marcus Boulevard entrance to the property, which would be considered the secondary entrance. That's a bit of a smaller sign, and again, that sign complies as to area. We're just looking for a 2-foot higher height, from 6 feet to 8 feet. Number 4, increase height of monument sign, again from 6 feet now to 10 feet. That's for sign E. Now, sign E is the sign that we feel will be the first sign that our customers heading southbound will see, and that sign is actually sharing real estate with the gas station sign. It's located approximately 10 feet away from that. So I provided, again, that gas station sign because all of these signs are drawn to scale, so they're all in the same scale. So as you can see, the gas station sign is significantly larger than the Lidl signs that are proposed. And again, looking at sign E, which is the one that's next to this gas station sign, this is sign E. So again, requesting an increase in height marginally from 6 to 10 feet. By way of comparison, that Shell sign is 20 feet tall, so it's literally double the height. So we're just trying to provide some visibility to the traffic for that. The last 2 variances are basically the same. They are for increasing the height of the wall signs on the building. It's a relatively modest increase. The allowable sign size for a wall sign in the town is 6 feet. These wall signs will be a total of 8'1". Want to just draw your attention to the fact that those signs are located here at the corner of the building, and the building itself is located 300 feet from the Comac Road right-of-way. So these signs are, although slightly larger than what code allows, they are certainly modest when taking into account that 300-foot setback. And we're just trying to get visibility from the roadway for our customers so they can make an identification of where the site is and pull in safely. That's the substance of my presentation. I'm certainly available to answer any questions.
Thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Caraccia.
I was there today. It looked great. Everything's coming out really terrific there.
Thank you.
I don't see anything objectionable or anything. I have no further questions as far as the signage goes. I was just wondering if you could lower the gas price to $2.59 like it says on this.
I got to talk to my drafter about
Yeah.
that. Put zeros in there.
One-day sale, grand opening or something, you know?
See what I can do.
No further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve application 22-215 for a period of 5 years.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and happy holidays again,
too.
everyone.
We're going to... So we're just going to go out of turn on one application here. We're going to jump to an adjourned application. It's application 22-200 of Mary Ann Sankus. Larry, okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Name and address for the record?
Larry Bennett, 11 Hearthstone Drive, Mechanicville, New York.
Long trip.
Yes.
Do
Long
you-
trip.
Do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated November 23rd, 2022, Environmental Control memo dated November 29th, 2022, a survey showing the proposed 2 stories by Michael Lawrence Haynes, dated March 30th, 2022, tax map acting as an area map, and...
Chairman, we have 5 photographs.
Okay. Would you like to tell us about the application?
So I would like to go through the application, according to the planning board schedule with their comments, because I have some concerns about a few issues. So with permission to diminish the front yard from 30 feet to 27 feet on Peconic Avenue and diminish the front yard setback from 30 feet to 6.1 on Bishop Road for the addition, and to diminish the front yard property line from 40 to 17 on Bishop Road for the pergola, and to diminish the distance from the property line of 40 feet to 32 on the deck. So if you read the survey, there's dedications on Bishop and Peconic Avenue. On Peconic Avenue, they're 8.5, and on Bishop Road, they're 5 feet. So if you were to, I do have some evidence for that. I want to give it to the board. Let's see, I have the zoning, chapter 213, the town of Babylon. I have a survey from 1965, when the house was built. And I have, I think that's it for that. I'd like to show this to the board.
Okay. Well, I guess that it's less. So what
So like
are
the,
you trying to tell us? But
well, like the Board of Appeals on the dial put to diminish the front yard on Peconic for the addition from 30 feet to 6.1. And you got to, I mean, if you read the code and the deed and the surveys, it should be 14.1.
Your application is 30 to 27.8.
Well, that's the front on Peconic. They're asking to maintain that existing setback, but with the dedication, it's another 5 feet, so it doesn't even need a variance. Because it has 32 feet.
Yeah, but this is what you submitted, 30, from diminished front yard setback from 30 to 27.8 on Peconic.
Well, that's the denial that we received from the board.
No, that is the zoning board application that was submitted.
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
That was the zoning board application that was submitted by the applicant. That's what they wrote on their
Oh,
application.
well, then that's a mistake on the application that was filled out. They might have copied that from the denial from the building department. That's probably where that came from.
Mr. Bennett, the board is considering what was applied for.
Okay.
You're presuming now to change what has been applied for, and I believe Kelly Bennett's handwriting.
Okay,
You may want to just reserve this again, meet with planning, and see exactly what it is you're asking for.
okay.
But it's frustrating that the board is working off of an application that was submitted on behalf of your client.
Okay.
You want to change what was submitted at the hearing.
Okay, I'll let her know.
All right. So then we're going to adjourn this application once again to, when do we have the, January? January 5th?
Okay.
That works? That's our next hearing date, so.
Yes, I'll give that information to Kelly, January 5th.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
okay, thank you very much.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Is there anybody here on that application? For the record, there are none, okay.
So you'll hold all the documents that I
We'll hold
gave you
everything. Yep.
for the next hearing? Okay, thank you.
All right. Next application is application 22-216 of Angela Holding, Inc., property located in Copic. Who's putting here? That's fine. Okay.
Yes.
That was my concern when I looked at that. Name and address for the record?
Yes, Stephen Kretz, Donahue, Kretz and Garrabrand, 692 South Wellwood Avenue, Lindenhurst, for the applicants.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated December 12th, 2022. Environmental Control memo dated December 14th, 2022. A few comments in here. You have a copy of the planning memo, of the environmental memo? You have a copy of the
I believe we
environmental?
do. Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Suffolk County Planning, December 14th, 2022, decision of local determination, take no position for or against. Plans by Harold Gephardt, dated May 18, 2018, a survey by Michael Scalise dated May 8, 2018. Tax map acting as an area map. And
We have 6 photographs and a site plan by Harold E. Gebhard dated October 23rd, 2018.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I wanted to say that our client is here in the front row, and she has been very involved in this property for a long time and is, a long-time occupant of this neighborhood and hopes that she's successful in this. Mr. Gebhard is our architect, and he has done a lot of very beautiful work, especially in the plans and the diagrams or the sketches, the paintings of the building. There's a large one with a small parking plan in front of the dais for the audience to see, and a copy of that has also been distributed to each of the board members and whoever else is sitting up near you, because we had some extras. Our client is here with us, of course, and she has been, she is the owner of the Angelica, I'm going to say that wrong, Angela Holding Corporation, and she has been a very active participant in this community. She has her own real estate business and is very knowledgeable in that field. As I say, we have other layouts. What is proposed is that the building be placed in a location indicated on the file. The one question that came up from the town is the question of the post that is nearest to the corner of the site, the northeast corner, where there is a post. There are many posts. They are done not only for structure but also for attractiveness, I believe. And that corner post by the side street leaves us with a claim that we want to be 1.5 feet from the street. That's really not true. We just have a feature of the design that is, we think, very attractive and will enhance not only the property but the surrounding properties. And I don't think we should get too carried away with that. I mean, if we had to, if it was a question of getting rid of that setback problem or issue, well, we would take it down and we would give up an aspect of the very attractive setup that Mr. Gebhard has in his normal way created very, I think, artistically and appropriately. These are all one-bedroom units, and we have a letter from one client that intrigued us for a moment, but it is a lady who lives in one of the apartments in the building, in the 250 house. I'm sorry. In the legal two-family house with her son, who is severely disabled, and she plans to and hopes to be able to remain in that location or in that building once it is built, and My client has been very gracious and kind to her to assure her that she will allow that to happen at basically the same rental charge that she has been going through in light of the difficulties that they are having with the maintenance of the son, and she's in her 80s. So that's an indication. If you don't mind, I have a copy of the letter from her. Without being too tedious, it's just one page. I'll read it, if that's okay. For the record, my name is Maureen Mahoney, age 72. My profoundly disabled 28-year-old grandson, it's a grandson, not the son, Greg, and I live and rent the ground floor, 2-bedroom apartment at 154 West Alhambra Avenue, Lindenhurst. Our landlady is Anna Tambasco. I am unable to attend this hearing, so I offer this letter of support for Anna's petition for a variance special exception permit to build apartments. I met with Anna last week to discuss with her my major concern, which will happen, of what will happen to Greg and me. Anna pledged to help us, that she would not let us be without a place to live. Anna said Greg and I could have one of the new apartments she plans to build. When she says can have, she'll charge rent, but at a reduced rate, as opposed to a complete, gift. And would work with us at a rental cost. Over the years, Anna has earned my trust in what she says. Greg and I, and our dog Pal, and I moved into our current rental apartment at the end of May 2017. Our monthly rent was then $1,200, has remained the same to date. This is an unheard of for a 2-bedroom group ground floor apartment with a fully renovated kitchen, now flooring, etc., new flooring, etc. Greg needed a railing for the front step for safety and support. Anna had it installed right away. During growing season, she has landscapers come over every 2 weeks to maintain the property. Oh, just a few more. Every year, Anna pays the National Grid bill a few times without charging us for these months of gas usage. Anna often even arranged to have a complete Thanksgiving dinner delivered to us in 2019. It was a very difficult year. My mother had passed away in March, and our beloved dog, Pal, had died on November 3rd. Anna's kindness was a blessing. I have always trusted Anna to help us in times of need, and she always has been there for us. Now I can be there for Anna, so I do support her in seeking the variance special exception she needs to build apartments. Thank you. So I won't do that to you again, but that was one thing that we thought was particularly important. Let's see. Yeah. At this time, I'll turn the microphone over to Harold Gebhardt, our architect, and let him dazzle you with what he has to say.
Good evening. Harold Gebhardt, architect, 363 North Wellwood Avenue.
Do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do, sir. I'm aware of a petition against this project, which I have here. I don't know if the board has it. If the board has it, I would like to provide it. my presentation is based on the petition. Excuse me?
We don't have it.
I'll give you a couple minutes to digest the petition. Okay? Some of the concerns in the petition I will address. First of all, I'm a registered architect in several states. And being on the South Shore, I do a lot of work on or near the water. So I'm very aware of FEMA regulations. This first item here, that says the property is in a flood zone. Yeah, it is. It's in AE6, FEMA elevation AE6, which means that anything I build that's occupied has to be 6 plus 2. So finished floor of this building, and it's designed such to be elevation 8. Wasn't easy because the site itself was like 4 and change. The setback off of Montauk Highway, like Mr. Kretz had said, is only at that one column and roof. If you look at the blue lines on the screen behind you, the property goes from south to north, right up where the cursor was. And that's where that one column, if you look at my rendering and the site plan, you can see that that one column is 1.5 feet from that line. The actual building itself, setback from Montauk Highway property line, is 7 feet, and it relates to annas of the building. And it's about 15 feet from the building to the curb on Merrick Road, Montauk Highway. On the side, it's about 17 feet from the property line to the curb. There's plenty of space for a 7-foot wide sidewalk, which is Town of Babylon code and New York State DOT code. So there is plenty of room for safe sidewalks. If you look at my plan, you can see it. Now, I do apologize. I should get a tripod one of these days. We're knocking down the existing dwelling that lady is living in. Once the building gets up and running and built, she'll be able to move into that the first floor apartment with her grandson. We're not looking to change the zone. We're looking to get a special permit to allow us to construct the multiple residence building, such as the same thing as Tommy Pennell has across the street. Same thing, and a lot of other people. There's no burden on the infrastructure. There's no burden on the sewer or traffic. We had a traffic study done by Cameron Engineering, and they claim everything is good to go with that. I can give you this if you want.
Yeah, please. Yes.
You want it?
Yes, please.
It clearly states more than once that a traffic study is not necessary and that this project is not going to be a burden to the traffic. I can't see how this building is going to destroy American Venice historic values of single family. I can't see that at all. We're not even in the Venice. We're just on the outskirts of it. And it's not a reckless development in a flood zone. And it's got nothing to do with higher flood insurance. I live on the water in Amityville. Due to Irene and Superstorm Sandy, FEMA has raised their rates, thousands of dollars. It's got nothing to do with this project. It's just the fact that FEMA's running out of money. I'm open for questions if you have.
Turn the hearing over to Mr. Dellavecchia.
So in the pictures, it shows that there's 16 parking spots, is that correct?
That is correct.
So if any of the tenants have guests, where are they supposed to park?
The Town of Babylon Code says, whenever I do an apartment building, multiple residents, I have to provide 2 spaces per unit.
And how many
I meet
handicap?
the code. What?
How many handicap?
There's 1 handicap, and also that's ADA code.
Now, are you guys going to be knocking down the house before you start the
No,
building?
sir. No, sir.
At the end?
The elderly lady and her handicapped son will stay in that unit until this is done. Then they'll move in.
And then I guess you guys will have to do the parking, et cetera?
I'm sorry?
And then you will be doing the parking lot, et cetera?
After the fact.
And then the sidewalk is 7 feet all around
Yes, sir.
on the east, on
It's
west and north?
If you look at the handout that you have in front of you, you can see the sidewalk shown. It's as per DOT on Merrick Road, Montauk Highway, and it's as per the town as it goes down the side street, Doges. That's all in the Cameron Engineering paperwork.
And then that column that you speak of, that's only the 1.5 feet away?
Yes, sir.
When cars pull up to Merrick Road to go make a left or a right-hand turn, are they going to be, is that column going to be in their line of vision?
I doubt that very much. If you look at the handout that I gave you, look at when you come down Doges and you're heading north, look at the radius on Merrick Road. You got that 7-foot sidewalk, and then you have another 8 feet to that column.
How long has the lot been vacant for?
Quite a number of years.
I mean, I've known it for at least 10 years. I'm wondering if it's longer than that. Longer?
Oh, no. None of that. Everybody will have their opportunity to speak. There's going to be no yelling out in here.
So it's
from
about
anybody.
time something gets built.
I definitely agree, but I think we should cut that column back a little bit.
Define a little bit.
Get to the end of the building line, wherever that building line is. Keep it in line
I
with the
can take the
building.
column, if you want, I can take the column out.
Okay.
I can
And then
engineer
what-
the roof. I can
The
engineer the
real
roof.
estate building to the east, what's the setback on that? Is your building going to be exactly in line with that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If you look closely at my site plan, you can see lines just to the east, and that's Anna's other building, and they line up.
On that, it doesn't look like they line up at all.
Well, to me, it does from here.
Can you show them? Can we ask Mr. Gibson, is that the existing building? Because it jumps out. Yeah.
So on the site, on the survey that we have, is this line the existing building? I know I'm far away, but.
Can I come up a little closer?
Yeah, that's fine.
Where's the bench?
This building line,
Yeah.
that's the existing building?
This is the existing building line, and mine relates to that, if you look at my site plan.
Okay.
See where you got your hand? See the building just
Right here?
right there, that's it.
Okay.
That's the existing building line.
So it's, okay,
Gotcha.
it's pretty much even. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, yeah, because you don't see the new building.
Yeah, here.
Actually, good evening. May I speak to Mr. Kretz?
I'm sorry? Yeah, sure.
Don't go anywhere without it.
You can remain.
You gotta stay at the mic.
Yes, ma'am.
You're aware the applicant is asking for 3 use variances, and I'm just asking if you're going to be submitting any other
Financials and things like
or
that?
appraisals or documentation to show that the current zoning is in fact a hardship as it currently is zoned.
It has not been discussed. Could we get back to you on that?
If you would like to make a request that the record remain open.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Prerogative.
Thank you. Harold has an opinion on that.
No, I don't. Did you want me to take that column out?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we
It can be done. It's not going to interpret the integrity of anything in the building, but again, as I said earlier, the aesthetic effect of it, we thought was at least worth a shot to persuade the board that it would look better that way.
I think it will look just fine without it.
What was that?
I think it would still look okay without the one column.
It's going to look okay.
With that would alter number 1, correct?
Yeah, eliminate it, yeah. Amend the application.
Would it bring it to 10 or no?
Just take it out. Just delete it. Delete it.
Yeah, but I don't know what the building is at now.
We're just gonna delete it altogether.
Yeah, because I don't know where the building is at.
Okay. All right. We're gonna need revised plans on that to show that it's taken out and what the, variance would be, all right? All right. We good? Listen now?
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions.
Okay. Would anyone like to be heard on this application?
I don't think he's going to speak.
Would anyone like to be heard?
Well, are you gonna speak as part of the application?
Yes.
Okay, so let her speak first. Okay, go ahead. No, you're gonna speak for the application, that you're the owner here, right? So come up and speak now, and then we'll have the neighbors. Name and address for the record.
My name is Anna Tambasco. My address is 40 Gateway Drive, Copeg Harbor.
What would you like to tell us about you affirm to tell the truth?
The whole truth, I do.
What would you like to tell us about the application?
Okay. I've lived in Copeg my whole life. I went to Copeg. My children went to the elementary schools. I grew up in Copeg. I have moved. My family originally lived on Jackson Avenue. There was a farm there. I am not moving. I am staying there. I'm building this for my children and the town to be proud of. As in the past, I was past president of the Copeg Chamber of Commerce. I was responsible for the lights that are on Merrick Road. I went to Steve. We got all the electrical and a grant from the state. That's why we have it, because they weren't near our town. I did that. I helped with Tanner Park. I helped with the festival. I was the first one who brought the festival up, where we had a family festival. I started it with Steve Balone. I love this town. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not moving. I'm not going to do anything bad. I own a real estate. I have done real estate for 39 years. I'm at that corner for 24 years. Anybody who knows me knows that I always help people. I have helped everybody, and I built a very good business. My building resides on that property. I don't want to say anything against the Venice, but I have the nicest building on that whole strip. There's not a piece of paper. I go out there myself. I get it landscaped by Giannini. The new owner is Mike. I keep it immaculate. My building was completely redone about 5-6 years ago. It's lit, it's everything. And I don't understand why anybody would think that I would put anything else but something beautiful. I've gone to the I've gone to the Civic Association and I met with them. I sat down with them for dinner first and then had a meeting at the Civic. I originally was approached by 7-Eleven 7 years ago. I could have done a triple net lease, $8,800 a month, going up every year. And I didn't want that for the Venice. I didn't want next to my building that I don't plan on moving, and I'm going to die there in my business. I didn't want a 7-Eleven open 24 hours, and neither would anybody else. I was approached with putting a car wash there. That would be, I wouldn't even have to knock down the two-family home if I did that, because the top is all on commercial. I didn't want that for the community. I'm thinking of the community, and I'm proud of the community, and I only want to make this better. So as the best cause and the best thing to make everybody happy is that was my idea of the columns. I'm a column person. My home has columns all over it. It looks like a residential building. I have plans for it.
You're out of the microphone.
To have the white poles on the back property where the house is going to come down is going to be estate gates, is only going to be flowering bushes and making it look private. It's going to look like a big house, and that's going to at least make everybody happy. It's going to only increase the value of the Venice. That lot, even though it's kept clean, it looks terrible. We have to do something with it. If you go down Merrick Road, there's shabby buildings, there's everything else. This is going to be beautiful. And, you know, we got to try to work together a little bit and have an enlightening on what this looks like. I understand they're upset that there is other buildings and other apartments. I'm not putting a third floor. I'm not making 20, 30 dwellings. I'm making 8 dwellings. I'm not being greedy. Some of the things I've heard is terrible. It's a beautiful building. It looks like my home. And I would only do good here. You know, I have 3 children. I have 6 grandchildren. My son Matthew lives in the Venice. My son Richie lives in Copac. And I have one other son who's with me. I'm not gonna ever do anything that's gonna hurt this community. And the values of the homes are gonna be better instead of pulling into a horrible lot and a parking lot that's on the other side. That looks terrible. When there was a bar across the street, there was the Zebra Bar, which was known as a drug bar. I had to put poles around my lot just to keep out the bad clientele. This is going to be a beautiful project. During Sandy, my lot was full of everybody's cars. It wasn't flooded. It was fine. Only partial of the lot is on a flood district. I do over there. I was approached recently by 7-Eleven to take my building and put a gas station 7-Eleven. And I turned that down. This is for my children to go ahead with their children in the future and collect rent, and they're going to be living here too after I die. I only want the best for Copac and for the Venice. And I really think I've done a lot already. And originally, the Civic Association wanted me to put commercial in, which would be 4 stores, something like that, with apartments on it. You know, the main concern is the traffic. If you put a store in, whether it's a construction store or something, or even my real estate, another real estate, just say, you're going to have the owner, the secretary, and the workers. You're going to have 4 cars for one, compared to one apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment. So what I did,
there you go. That's what we need. No, hold it up a little.
Walk up and down.
Great.
So I went from a Stop and Shop in Amityville to Wellwood Avenue. We have 39, give or take one, actually. I think it's 40, but I'm not sure. Anything I wasn't sure I didn't want to put on this.
Can you do me a favor? Can you just turn that around so the audience can see it too, please? Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, we have 39, approximately 30-something, because I don't want to be corrected just in case, empty storefronts. So their other idea was for me to do a cafe. If they had a cafe, they would have been in one of those. I asked them, bring it to me. I was told I would have to get the liquor license, and that's not it. They get the liquor license, I sign for the liquor license. Obviously, they don't have a liquor license, a person, because they're not in any of these. These buildings, a lot of them are abandoned. It's nothing, everything you have seen. You know, we have to work together. And I think this is the best use. It makes it look like a home, and it's sitting there, and it will sit there quiet. My building, I have 3 apartments, 2 storefronts, and they're all legal, and nobody even knew till I had the meeting, and I told them I have apartments in there. It's gonna sit there nice and quiet, and I promise it's gonna be the gem of the Venice. Thank you very much, and thank you, and have a nice holiday.
Thank you. Does anyone else like to be heard on the application?
No problem. No problem at all. Okay, by now you all know who I am. I am Michelle
Need you-
Insinger.
I just need your name and address for the record. That's
Okay,
all.
Michelle Insinger, 94 Venetian Prom, Lindenhurst, New York.
And you confirm to tell the truth?
Of course.
Okay, what would you like to say?
Just a little background. I am the executive director of Adopt a House, a nonprofit for the last 10 years addressing Sandy and flood recovery issues, helping literally hundreds of South Shore families to recover through various ways that included financial, policy, and direct advocacy. In fact, I was with the town not that long ago on our Sandy's 10th anniversary, where I addressed our continued efforts and concerns in recovery from disaster. I am also part of the American Venice Civic Association. Our civic has done some great work for our Venice community. We are working on our Grand Canal presence, worked with the newly restored historic American Venice Marina, and the wonderful owner. I'm sorry, I got lost on my notes. The restored marina, it's with his wonderful owner, after plans for the county to buy it fell through. We are grateful to have since been able to see that our beloved lions, a landmark of our historic community that was designated by this town as historic, saved and restored to their spectacular beauty. We are currently working on restoring the eroded beach at the end of our southwest quadrant that was once enjoyed by the community as a private beach to a living shoreline after decades of erosion, which will create resiliency, flood protection, wildlife habitat, and currently working with road raising in the area, as well as restoring the circle that is at the Grand Canal's end. We also beautified and created an open-air market on a blighted state-owned lot at the corner of Miramar and Montauk with the town of Babylon. This market gave shoppers at the height of the pandemic in 2020 and these years after a place to go shopping. And since that time, it has spawned multiple very successful businesses to this day that we're very proud of. We were also told a few years ago by those who pushed the apartments that businesses wouldn't come to Copeg. Yet, to this date, in fact, quite a few have actually come, included in those pictures she just showed you. So that's really kind of not true. All the empty stores in a meeting we had a few years ago on this project have in fact been occupied by businesses. Even Dunkin' Donuts just opened a new building with a drive-through. So obviously they're investing in businesses in Venice and on Montauk. We've had several open there as well, including the marina. We also stopped in an apartment development at 5 East Riviera next to our marina at the time when the town and the county were attempting to purchase at one point both properties for passive park projects. The property as a backup was purchased by the marina owner as well as the house at the corner, and when those projects fell through. That is a brief explanation of my background and the work I've been doing for the last 10 years. This is showing my commitment to my community for its betterment. Why am I here now? Because once again, we have to object to something, and we've done this before, that our community does not want within its borders, regardless of who, what, and where. How can we say this? Because multiple families in our community reached out to us to clue us in with this. We're communicating various concerns regarding this project. The setback we heard about from 1.5 feet is ridiculous. We heard from folks with disabilities that their concern for passing on a main road would assume, I would assume would have to be a concern for anyone in a wheelchair, a stroller, or a bike. Then there's the concern of demoing a home in residential C zoning in favor of a parking lot. If I am understand this correctly, since we have not seen current plans for this project, this sets a precedent that no residential area ever wants to see. I have seen and believe there was a similar situation on Baylon Avenue where that developer wanted to demo a residential house between homes to access and extend a parking lot, and that was denied. As was 5 East Riviera, also denied. We have met a few years ago and we asked the applicant for multi-use. The best use I could think of a new building is with the DeFranco one on Broadway. He has a barber shop underneath. So this is true. So there were things that were said and have been done. We have not since been reproached in regards to anything being updated on this. But mostly, in my case, with my background, like it or not, this is a flood zone. We are once again, despite all of my nonprofit's work that continues to this day, that now focuses on FEMA's Risk 2.0, and which I am told legislation I helped write will finally be out of the House next month. Okay? I work on a federal level and a national state level. Our town keeps allowing new developments in flood zones while so many scream climate change. I find that fascinating. That's an old picture. There's no apartments there. It absolutely was flooded. To tell me it wasn't is a lie. Sorry. I know in meetings with the feds and with FEMA that BFE is no longer a consideration. I know that because just building to FEMA's BFE +2, which would be 8 in this case, no longer applies. Risk 2.0 became effective this past October. This has changed NFIP since 1974 significantly. I know in the meetings that what they're now considering, which is not BFE, but cost of rebuild and location to a water source. Take a good look at that water source. It's right there. This is the FEMA map. Yes, it's in there. Oddly enough, the house isn't, but it is. Do you see a lot of blue there? You should. And in Sandy's case, the majority of this was all blue. I give that to you. This property isn't different. This particular map I'm showing you is based on FEMA's 1% chance of flooding per 100 year, or what's known as a Cat 1. Except Sandy's effect was stronger, we know this. We had an effect of a Cat 2, and its storm went much higher and further than what's considered a 500-year flood zone, well beyond FEMA's map. So it went well beyond what I'm showing you. In this whole map, Sandy would have been blue. I can tell you that we are working with the government on the cost of flood insurance. It's been doing this since 2019 with Senator Schumer. We have seen full risk premiums cost up to $6,500. Yes, I have the policies. They're full risk premiums, and that's on a single elevated house after Sandy. My own full risk cost as an X zone outside of the 500-year flow, can't see it on this map, but it's there, in which I myself had 3 inches of water in my house, despite being out of the flood zone, is going to go to $2,400. Right now, it's $686. It had a 12% increase this year. Last year, it was an 8% increase. There's a reason for that, but we don't have time for it. So I'm going to ask you, do you believe in climate change? Do you? If so, then why would you allow development in these areas knowing tenants, where in New York, there's still non-disclosure, to move into a flood zone? We ask, hasn't the town adopted new codes limiting types of development in mapped flood areas as other municipalities I personally work with in other states, in fact, have? Will this building hold flood insurance and pay into the system like the homes around it do, with their premiums going up? Will this project not only ask for renters insurance, but also ask for flood contents coverage for tenants, hence actually disclosing the flood risk? How many units are affordable? Well, we heard 1 is. But again, I have to raise a question with the person living in that house. If you have to raise this property to BFE +2, how is that a compliant and how is that accessible to that person in a wheelchair? The current White House administration is moving to stop allowing NFIP to insure new builds in flood areas and has moved through HUD very recently, 2 weeks ago, in fact, to allow only private insurance. That means private flood insurance. Well, good luck trying to get that. I am embarrassed of Long Island when I'm on these calls and meetings. I am on one tomorrow with the Coalition for National Sustainable Flood Insurance, which exists, it's in Louisiana, but exists with all of us from across the nation who continue to advocate. Insisting that we keep putting new developments in these areas that should stay non-developed. In fact, we just voted on prompts in November in New York for buying land in these areas for open space. Did we not just do that? We did. New York State has announced a large amount of money to buy out property in these particular areas. We had buyouts in this community because it was considered too risky. So, with that said, perhaps this county and the town, when it failed in buying the marina and 5 East Riviera, this property can actually be purchased through this program that we know New York State is starting. For the open passive park, we sought twice to get through the New York State funding that's being allocated, and maybe then that will be giving back to the community instead of taking advantage of it. So I'm going to ask, again, do we believe in climate change? And do we think this is a good idea to keep doing? Because it did it across the street, did it behind Mama's, did it next to Strong's Creek. We just keep doing it and doing it here. I have to ask these questions because that is my job. That's my job. And yes, we did speak about multi-use because we said at least give us that. At least do something like that. Because the people that live on Doges that signed the petition, this one actually has their full names. The one he gave you most likely does not, because it's our petition, not theirs. You know what they want to see? They don't want to see more apartments. They got them across the street. They got them down the block. You know how long it took me to get out of my block from Venetian Prom, a couple of blocks, just to come here at 5:30? I waited past 50 cars. Don't tell me there's nothing like that on Montauk. I'm down it every day. I'm from Queens. We are literally Queensifying and densifying the area. I can see what's happening. I'm here 23 years. In a year and a half, I'm gone. We're retiring. We're going to Tennessee. Because this is not working anymore. It's not sustainable. We use that word a lot, but it's not sustainable. Greenport just did a moratorium. Because why? The community's concerns of overdevelopment. Well, that's exactly what these people here in this position are saying. The people on Doges don't want to see apartments. They want to see their road fixed after 23 years. On my block, my road hasn't been paved for 23 years. It's like this. Waves, sinkholes everywhere. We have discussed with the town, and we are working, as I said, with road raising and various things with the town to benefit the community. But these are the things we're doing to benefit the community. So I ask you, please consider this. Consider it. Or at least allow us to go back and figure out something that would work with the property. Because we've been trying to work with our short presence for 7 blocks with other people, but COVID came and whatever, to do a redevelopment economically from that end, because that's where the Venice actually does start, to the end of Venetian, which is where I live, because we do want to see better. But that's not our answer. We think we could do a lot better than that. We do know businesses came into Copeg, clearly, because several of them did in the Venice. So I ask you to please consider what we're telling you. Seriously. And please, another apartment building, multifamily, in a flood zone, so one family is not good enough, so let's put 8. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? I'll take the gentleman right there. I seen him first. Gentleman, lady, I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Kathy Gullo, Gullo, 290 West Riviera Drive, Lindenhurst.
And you're from Tell the Truth?
I swear. I'm part of the American Venice Civic Association, and our job as the association is to listen to our neighbors. So we put it out there in a petition to listen to the neighbors, people who own houses, not people who rent property, but people who actually own houses, pay taxes, and yes, they've been there for years. Their family has been there for years. I personally have been in there for 3 generations. So this is what I have to say. I'm representing the people. I have 350 signatures that are against it. If we need to contact them, we can. Everybody gave me the permission to do so. And that's what I have to say. Obviously, there's 350, yep, here are the names, the signatures, the emails, contact information,
We'll make it part of the record.
350 people. Our community is just sick and tired of apartments. Anna, it's nothing against you. It's very bad timing for you, and I apologize. I know you're a great person. But we're listening to our community. We live in the community. We live in the Venice. We're part of the historic Venice, and that's what our people are saying. And that's what we're representing.
Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? An old lady over here had her hand up.
Mickey.
My name's Henry Newer. I live at 101 Doges Promenade. I'm very familiar with this area. I've been there over 30-something years. I know what it's like to live during Hurricane Sandy and how it devastated our community. All I want to do is thank these ladies that made the point here tonight. I have met this young lady. She's very nice. I hope,
It's not personal, and you got to get off of that, okay? It's, what do you want to tell us about the application?
well, all I want to do is support these people that are here, whatever they said. You know, there's also, we're not familiar with this, even the floor plan of this stuff here. You're saying, is there 16, is there 8 apartments?
8 apartments.
How
4
many
over
rooms in
4.
each apartment?
One bedroom.
1 bedroom.
1 bedroom? How many rooms are in the apartment?
1-bedroom apartments.
Yeah, but can you make another room into another bedroom? No. Okay. I just want to clarify that because sometimes they say a 1 bedroom and all of a sudden there's 2 bedrooms in there. How many parking spots are in there?
16.
16? Okay.
You can't, please.
You know, it would have been nice if, they spread that through the neighborhood, whatever, anyway, the floor plans and everything of the building. For some of us, it's the first time we're looking at it. That would have, we would appreciate, well, I'm going to look at it now.
Yeah, well, take it, you can see it.
You want me to take it?
Yes.
Yeah, you can
take
have
a
mine.
copy of this. This gives you what it's going to look like on the outside, too.
I understand, but
As a rendition.
I'll tell you what, if you want to go take a look at it, we'll call on somebody else, and then you can come back up and I'll let you comment, but... Okay, well, you can always, what you can always do is you can always then go to the zoning board, write a letter to the zoning board with your comments on the plans. Okay? Oh, you want to keep it so you can look at it, or?
Keep it?
Yeah.
Keep it. Okay.
I want to thank the board members and
Okay.
hope you have a good holiday.
Thank you.
You too.
You too. Renee?
At the end, I guess, right?
Yeah, we'll do that before we're done. Where am I? Would anybody else like to be heard on this?
That young lady right there.
Is she still? Yeah, come on up. I know you had your hand up a bunch of times. And then we'll take, everybody's going to be heard, so.
Hello, thank you for having us. My name is Eileen Donahue. I live at 77 Venetian Promenade, Lindenhurst, in the east side of the American Venice. I am there for 60 years.
You live, do you
I
firm
know I
tell the
don't look,
truth?
yes, of course I'm telling the truth. I know I don't look it, but I am 60 years there. My family's there for 75 years. Some of the areas of the American Venice, which particularly is the east and the west side only, before the bridge and after the bridge. I live before the bridge. Some of the area is in disarray. This is correct. I think that this project would be a beautiful addition to the community. There is not one other like it in the Venice. So therefore, I happen to work with Ms. Tambasco. I have been her friend for 49 plus years. I think this is a great project for the community. It will bring people here that want to live here, that don't want to own a home anymore. And I just feel that it is something that's warranted for the west side of the American Venice. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Come on up. Yeah. Name and address for the record, please.
Richard Albano, 227 Edgewood Avenue in Smithtown.
You affirm to tell
I
the
swear
truth.
to tell the truth. I just want to let you know I've known Anna for over 40 years. I lived in Copiague and in Babylon for over 55 years. I know the American Venice very, very well. I loved the American Venice. I lived on West Alhambra after I got married. I know the dirt lot. My uncle used to own B&B Fish during the 60s. I'm very familiar. I parked it there, my car there across the lot when I used to go for seafood. And I let my daughter park her car there during Superstorm Sandy, which they're saying it's in a flood zone. I guess all of Long Island kind of is in a flood zone pretty much. We live on an island. That dirt lot is where my daughter's car was parked during Sandy. It didn't get any water, and it was a Volkswagen Jetta. Okay, she lived down the road, and she was afraid that her, driveway would get flooded out. So it did not get flooded. I can't imagine how anything structural would upset the flood zone or climate change or anything else. I saw the rendering of what she wants to build, and I think it would definitely be the nicest looking building in the American Venice on Montauk Highway by far. Okay, I know her integrity, I know her love and passion. Okay, and I use that word strongly, passion. She has a passion for Copeg, okay, and improving it. She bleeds Copeg. Okay, so I know that whatever she is looking to build, and I see the rendering, I can't imagine anyone looking at that thinking it looks ugly. Okay, and as far as the setback, she has to do away with that. I believe it's a monument in the corner. You'd be 7 feet. It's the same as the other buildings that are on Montauk Highway, including the one next door. Anyway, I just want to say that. Thank you very much, and enjoy the holidays. Thank you.
Happy holidays, thank you. Thank you. I think there was somebody over here wanted to be heard. Yeah, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rob Sanchez. I live at 132 West Alhambra Avenue. Excuse me.
Do you want to tell the truth?
I swear to tell the truth. I've been living at my home since 1988. I have kids, love the neighborhood, moved out here from Queens to get away from all the apartments and such. The building that she owns is a very beautiful building. She did do the renovations and made it look nice. However, I just think that having more apartments in our area is just really adding to the issues with the schooling and the services, whether it be sewers, electric, whatever it could be. And, right now, my own kids are having rough time with the overcrowding in the classes. And I just feel that this is going to add to that. The corner lot does flood. It's flooded right now. I took a picture before I came here of the rain. Town came after Sandy to fix the storm drains, and your own people told me, because I went down there to meet them, that we can't fix this. We can't fix the drainage. There's not much that we can really do to get the water off the street and into the canal. It's the way it's designed. It would take millions of dollars for us to fix this. And they came in, they did, I called the town because there was potholes around the storm drains. And my kids, who were much younger then, one of them hit the pothole, fell off his bike and got hurt. So they came and they fixed it, they did a patch. But the roads are in pretty bad shape in our town. And, I just don't understand, and I don't know how this is really gonna impact it. I mean, it looks beautiful, and I'm not saying that it's not beautiful, your design work is very nice, but I just don't know how this is gonna really impact us positively. I think that the town needs to put a little bit more effort into getting our streets and the drainage issues resolved to help avoid future flooding issues and potential other problems. And, I thank you guys for your time, but I really would like you to, really think about this. The parking is an issue on my block. It's terrible. I have a couple of cars. They're in the driveway. It's impossible to park. Neighbors got 4, 5, 6 cars, from apartments or what it is, and it's tough. They're legal. They're legal. I've come
Gotta
to.
talk to us.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
He just made a comment that they're illegal, and they're not illegal. But, I really would like you guys to seriously consider it. Maybe if she can work with the Civic Association or to do something that's going to be maybe, I don't know, a little better. Again, sorry, it looks beautiful. Sorry. Okay?
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? No, you're the applicant. Ma'am? Name and address for the circuit, please.
Elizabeth Ranker, 308 Grand Central Avenue, Amityville, New York.
And do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
What would you like to say?
My concern is apartments. I've been watching them go up. I've seen beautiful renditions like that to bring to mind Giannini's big project. His rendition was beautiful. The outcome was ugly. Had nothing to do with his rendition. And it was one sidewalk away. You couldn't pass two people. So I made him put that slate down there. I don't really hold much to renditions. They're beautiful, but no. There's apartment buildings across the street. They have a 10-foot setback. To put this 1 foot, 1.5 feet from the edge of the sidewalk is ridiculous. I've watched projects go up, like I said, the Giannini one. You said, they said the parking, 2 parking spaces per unit. It doesn't address company. Where do they go? Giannini still hasn't solved his. You know where his people are parking? You guys don't know it. In the parking lot of the supermarket across the way.
He has a cross-access.
That's full over there at night. There's no place where they're going to go. I'd like to know that if this project continues.
Current project meets town code of 2 parking spaces per apartment. They're 1 bedrooms.
And it doesn't account for any guests.
Code is 2 parking spaces per apartment. And 1 bedroom code.
Well, that undercuts, really shouldn't be built then. The other thing, the traffic study. When was the traffic study done? At midnight? At rush hour? Giannini's project, we asked them to do it in the summer. When do they do it? In the winter. Summer is when all the concerts are down at the park, and you can't get in or out. So what do now? They block the whole street off. You can't even go down it. If I wanted to live in Queens, I've lived on Long Island my whole life. I've lived in Amityville for 38 years. If I wanted to live in Queens, I would move there. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. I'll call back up.
Steve Kretz, attorney for the applicant. I'll make this short. My only point at this stage is to make reference to the other 2 major projects that have been done on Merrick Road west of this site. One on the north side, which is nearby, and one further down, which we've been referring to here tonight as the Giannini project. They are much larger, very attractive, and so forth, but much larger than this particular project. And, you know, they've been approved. They are apparently very well thought of, and this one will have nearly no impact on the surrounding areas at all compared to the impacts in traffic primarily that is experienced from these other 2, which are really very much within the same venue as ours. They're a little bit further to the west, one much closer, and then one about less than a mile, but getting there. We think that there is a demand for this. We've seen the apartment and condo interest in construction over the past number of years, and by and large, I think it's turned out to be very well all around for our school districts, for our traffic, for our employments, and so forth. And I think that this will fit into that same situation. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
You can only speak once.
You only have one opportunity. He's the applicant.
Can I just ask just one question about who from the town of Babylon, when a project goes forward?
Okay. Come up, back up to the microphone. We don't do it this way. That's not how the building this works. Giving you an opportunity to speak a second time. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I just wanted to know, and this was just from the Giannini thing. When I saw the foundation going in, I just said,
Go ahead.
I asked the guy, that's closer to the road than it was supposed to be. He said, we don't know anything about that. We just put this in. Who is responsible to check when a foundation goes in on a project like this, if it goes along? Who looks at it as it's going along to make sure it is where it's supposed to be?
Building inspectors.
And engineers for the project.
And do the building inspectors just inspect the thing that's done, or do they know where it's supposed to be?
Now, as the project progresses, the building inspectors come in stages to check the projects and to check the foundations, check the structures, and they
But
continue
where they're
on.
supposed to be, because the one guy told me, we just look at how it's put in, not where it's put in.
Well, he was incorrect.
Okay, thank you.
Nope, that's it. We're done.
We are done.
This isn't the Baylorn project.
No, I know, but it keeps getting brought up.
And it shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be.
Exactly, it shouldn't be, but we were involved with that too, and I have a lot of emails on that. So anything that's
We're
being
not-
said, like, there was a lot of problems with that, a lot.
Okay. Meeting's over. Close the hearing, reserve decision. Keep the record open. Sir, if you'd like to make comments after you look at those plans. No. If,
Give him that email, Mickey.
I'll give you an address.
Give him
oh,
that
yeah,
email.
give him, if you, hold on, 1 second, hold on. There's an email that you can send everything into.
Any correspondence can be sent to the town of Babylon. The email address.
Hold on.
The email address is zoningcomments@townofbabylon.com. Or you can drop it off at the zoning office.
Whoever wants to comment. The record's going to be open. We don't have meetings till after the first of the year, so the record is open at least until then. If you want to make comments, we'll accept any comments until the first meeting we have, which is the 5th of January. The 5th of January. The record is open until the 5th of January for any further comments that you'd like to make. You have to submit them in writing and go to that website. All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody. We'll take everything into consideration. We appreciate it. I think the shit has to go back. You know.
Okay. So what do we got going back?
She can't move.
This ain't a floor plan.
Okay. It goes back. Yes. Keep that in a folder. Copay.
So floor plan on one page.
Can we have,
How are you?
This one has the floor.
is that the paperwork for this project?
Yeah, this does too.
Okay, we need to, we have to.
TV room or whatever, L room, and then make that second room.
Here you go. This meeting is not adjourned. Please, we need to further go on additional materials that we need to address, so if everyone doesn't mind. Okay, we'll wait. I couldn't wait.
Take it outside.
If you don't mind taking it outside, we'd appreciate it. Thank you. Next thing is move back to back, take them out. Take them
Someone
out.
buys you something, you gotta try to be.
70-year-old guy still got it. You know that.
That's me. Worry.
Did you want to address
We
them?
used to be. Now we're-
I don't know, they'll figure it out.
That's how you do me right before the holidays?
Good night.
We're still recording.
Did you want to proceed until,
I think we can, right?
Okay.
You want to wait for Mickey?
sure.
Let's get it going here.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Pamela Green, Office of the Town Attorney. Moving on to the remainder of the agenda, we're moving on to page 8. Roll right towing remains reserved, awaiting a new application. Moving on to page 9 of the agenda, Oscar Madrero remains reserved, waiting for new plans. I don't believe any have been received as of yet. Moving on to page 10 of the agenda, the first application, 22156, new plans were submitted. This will need to be re-advertised, so we are waiting for, I believe, an updated denial. Moving on to the bottom of page 22, Kenneth Diabramo. I'm sorry, let's go back. Moving on to the bottom of page 10, the application is 22-159. Kenneth Diabramo, after many communications, after the agenda was closed, Mr. Diabramo did send correspondence by email stating that he will be withdrawing his application because he will be revising it, but it will not include a height variance. If the board would like to allow Mr. Diabramo to withdraw the application, it will remove it from the agenda.
Yes, please.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we withdraw this application from the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Moving on to page 11, the application is 22-170. In your correspondence, item number 2 is an email from Abigail Peralata. She has put in writing her desire to withdraw her application.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion on application 22-170 to withdraw the application.
All in favor?
Thank you very much. Moving on to page 12 of the agenda. Mr. Tofali, as you know, had submitted a letter to the board requesting assistance in his request due to a hardship. I don't believe we've been able to make any outreach to him, correct? But we understand the board's position is very clear that they would like a reduction of the driveway in the front yard. We will be working on that over the break. Moving on to page 13, the application is 22-192, Marion Jensen. We have carryover correspondence, which was a memo from Tim Bessemer stating that the accessory structure was not above height that required a permit, and Mr. Shepherd was going to make another inspection. Planning had asked if it were to be approved, if there would be a condition that if the shed were ever taken down, it be rebuilt in a conforming location and the deck not be enclosed.
The monument, I'll call it, in question is not on the property line. So if it's all right with the board, we'll move this. I'll make a motion to approve application 22-192
With the recommended conditions?
with the condition that the deck not be further enclosed, and if the shed ever come down, to be put in a conforming location.
Second.
All in favor? Guys are racing for the seconds, man.
I give up.
Thank you. Moving on to page 14, the application is 22-189, Anthony Padovano. Please look to your correspondence for a memo from Rich Normoyle advising of revised plans. If the board were to accept the revised plans, variance number 2 would be amended, which it would now read diminished distance to front property line from 40 feet to 4.7, not 2. And planning had recommended a condition if the pergola or shed were ever to be taken down, they be rebuilt in a conforming location. Property is located in West Babylon.
Make a motion to amend application 22-189 for variance number 2, diminishing the distance from 40 feet to 4.7. Nice second?
Second.
All in favor?
Also, I will make a motion to approve application 22-189 as amended with the recommended conditions.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you. Moving on to the bottom of page 14.
4 seconds on it.
Jeremy Block is compiling research on his application. On page 15, the application is 22-199. In your correspondence, item number 4 is an email from Mr. Canales. And I just ask you to take a look at that.
Oh, that was,
For his
okay.
gym?
Yeah, yes. Office gym. So you're going to respond to him for us? Oh, so he's just looking for approval on the shed then, if we would... Am I looking at the right one? Outdoor kitchen fireplace? That's not the one. Where the hell am I?
No, page 60, no? Page 60.
Wait, we're all off. I get no help from these guys on either side of me. Yeah.
It may be premature to approve just one of the requested variances, not having a complete understanding of what exactly the applicant wants to do.
So, we agree. Let's see if we can find out more. Thanks.
It's a good day for baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Thanks.
Thank you. Moving on to page 16, the application is 22-203, Maria Greco, and your correspondence is item number 5. There was an email received by the supervisor in support of the request for the applicant to maintain the 2 sheds. However, this board will recall that they were rather adamant about having at least 1 shed removed. And
All it is going, okay, never mind. I'll let that go. Honestly, I mean, I don't think we're asking too much, you know, considering everything else that's going on here, to remove one of the sheds, so. mean,
I don't know that that has been communicated to him. The request for him to remove 1 shed, or has it? Oh. Okay.
Didn't they say
Perhaps
they
we'll
would remove 1 shed?
state that stronger.
Didn't they say they would remove 1 shed?
I thought they agreed to that.
Yeah. I thought he agreed to move 1.
Right, that's what we were asking, which shed, yeah.
The lot coverage will be different.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Riley. Okay, we'll allow them to make those changes. With that, we'll move on to page 17.
Page 17.
Page 17, the application is 22-204, All County Towing. Item number 6 in the board's correspondence is the memo from Suffolk County Planning Department, so the board can move if it would like. That was the reason it was being held. The applicant did ask, or was hoping for more than a one-year approval when they were here last week.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve application 22204 for a period of 2 years.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Which brings us to our correspondence. We continue to have an open application in the matter of Joseph Mazarez. And I believe Mr. Delavecchia has asked them to make another change in their proposal, and we're waiting for a response if they're willing to do so. So we will continue to carry that over, as a decision has not been sent out on that yet. With that, the carryover correspondence for Marion Jensen can be read and filed. Item number 1 in your correspondence is an email from a neighbor expressing concerns about the A. Angela Holdings application. That's item number 1. The remainder of your correspondence has all been referred to throughout the agenda, so they can all be read and filed, which would then move the board down to accepting the minutes of December 1st.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the minutes of December 1st, 2022.
Favor?
For the board's review over its Christmas break is the review of the minutes of December 8th. Pending correspondence of Roll Right Towing, waiting for them to apply, and that concludes tonight's agenda. Oh, you can have as much time as you like, sir.
Just want to let you guys know, since August 1990, it's been my pleasure to work with you guys. Attending meetings, this is going to be my last one. What? Anthony will be taking over for the meetings beginning in January.
Come in.
Congrats, Anthony. It's been a blast.
Okay, thank you. It's been very good. Good luck. Thanks, Joe.
The town of Babylon thanks you for your dedicated service.
Joe, you're not retired, are you?
What?
Me too.
I make a motion to adjourn.